Welcome back to the Tip of the Ice-Burgh podcast. We're running a little long today. We hope everybody has stuck with us to this point, but it is opening day PPG for the Pittsburgh Penguins, obviously. We're very excited. We have a lot to talk about, and I completely forgot about this, Horwat. We were on Locked On Penguins with Hunter Hodes. Go check that out. It was Tuesday's episode. The two of us went and joined Hunter, and he asked us a question at the very end. And for some reason, it caught me entirely off guard. And that was, who are our Stanley Cup predictions? You know, it's that time of year, and we give out a Stanley Cup prediction every single season. But for some reason this year, I just did not think about it in the slightest. But I'm rather okay with the matchup that I picked there off my back foot. So I'm going to, set my feet, and I'm still going to throw the ball downfield to these two teams. I'm going to go with, in the West, the Minnesota Wild, because Kirill Kaprizov is a bona fide star. Like, he is. Now, despite what Brian Boucher had to say on opening night on ESPN, Kirill Kaprizov is a star, and in my opinion, he's a bigger star than anybody that plays for the LA Kings. But you have him. You have some young guns there that are going to make a difference this year. Marco Rossi, Kalen Addison, Matthew Boldy, who I didn't mention on Tuesday's episode. And you have a guy in Marc-Andre Fleury that has shown the capability to run the gauntlet. He is a Vezina Trophy winner not too long ago. He is a three-time Stanley Cup champion, despite only playing in the clinching game in one of them. And he's taken another team to the Stanley Cup in the Vegas Golden Knights, not to mention the first time he went with the Penguins back in 2008. So good goaltending. Really physical team defense by the Minnesota Wild as well. I think Dean Evison does a fantastic job there as a coach. I like Billy Guerin as a GM, and I just like their positioning in the West heading into this season. So I have the Wild, and in the East, it's tough. We both said it on Tuesday. It is tough to pick a winner out of the East. It is basically impossible. But I ended up going with the New York Rangers. It looks good after Tuesday night. I will say that. It looks like a good prediction after Tuesday night. Goaltending and special teams always very important. The Rangers have that in spades. One more year of growth from the kid line and Kakko, Lafreniere, and Hedl. I think that's going to be vastly important. And I do think they'll be better this season than they were last at 5-on-5. Not that Vinny Trocheck's all that great of an addition, but I do think the team as a whole will improve at 5-on-5. So I have Rangers versus Wild, and I'm giving it to the guys from the snowy north of the United States. The Minnesota Wild win their first Stanley Cup in franchise history this season.
Quite a bold take. Quite a Matthew Boldy take, actually. I did it, guys. Yeah, when it came to my predictions, too, I really was not prepared at all for that kind of question. I'm still really not, to be fair. I'm just looking at – I just have the list of all 32 teams in front of me. And
well.
And we know we can knock names off that definitely won't make it, i.e. everyone we discussed before, Arizona, Philadelphia, other teams that are just into the nonsense. Chicago's down there. But it's hard to pick out one team from each conference that can make the right noise. I remember on the recording, I chose Calgary out of the West, and then I just straight up did not choose an East team because who's got the ability to make it? We talk Toronto as being a popular pick. Well, can they get out of the first round first? You don't want to make that pick just because they're so uncertain. You don't want to pick the Penguins just because we don't want to look like homers. Really.
I mean, listen.
It's a decent pick, though.
People will say we're homers, but I try not to have any homers. And I hope people that listen to this understand that, and I hope it comes across like that, and I feel like you do the same thing. Pick the Penguins if that's who you believe. Who cares what other people think? If that is truly what you believe, pick the Pittsburgh Penguins. If it's not truly what you believe and you're just hoping for it, then don't do it because then you're a homer.
Well, that might be the point of me. But looking at some of the other teams, you think Florida, well, what can they actually do in the postseason? They have a weird new system, a new lineup. Carolina, again, can they do it, though? The Rangers, I mean, as much as you say they looked good, that's game one, but can they still do it?
Yeah.
Because on with Hunter, I just straight up did not pick an East team.
I missed that. I thought you did.
No, I don't think we ever came back to me. I don't think I ever actually fully answered one, but just because it's fun, it's the fun answer, and you know what? I will be the homer. Why not knock in the Penguins? I think Calgary and Pittsburgh was my postseason prediction last year, so we'll just roll with it.
Ride the train, Horwat. Ride the train. And now we can all safely say, and this is a public service announcement and also a comment that goes directly out to Hunter Hodes as well. Noted question ducker Nick Horwat.
Absolutely. When it comes to picking a team out of the East right now, yeah, absolutely.
Now, Horwat, I'm not going to let you duck the last question, but who wins that matchup between the Flames and the Penguins? I know Redeem Zahorna might play a big role for Calgary, but who wins that matchup?
You know what? Pittsburgh. There's number 6.
Number 6 and number 4 for Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, and Christopher Letang. But before we go away, I do want to mention a couple other teams to watch. In my opinion, I think the Seattle Kraken are going to be a fun team. That's an ESPN Plus team for sure to keep an eye on. Matty Beniers, Shane Wright, both going to be electrifying centers for the Kraken this year. And they have a lot of fun forwards. It's weird. You know, if you want to go back and watch Turbo, if you want to go watch Jared McCann, they have Oliver Bjorkstrand that they added this summer. So it's a lot of fun out there in Seattle. Another expansion team, I like the Vegas Golden Knights. They got a win on day one. Jack Eichel's first full season in a long time. I love Logan Thompson, Horwat. I do. He's not a Vezina guy, but you know what? He's going to be just good enough for the gold cloaks of the Vegas Golden Knights. And Bruce Cassidy's also a good coach, you know, underrated move there, getting him instead of Pete DeBoer. And also, really quickly, the New Jersey Devils, I'm going to watch them because I expected them to be fun this year. Other people are very high on the New Jersey Devils. Dom Luszczyszyn has them at number 2 in his preseason rankings, or projections, I should say, for the 2022-23 season. That's a lot. You know, I thought maybe they can squeak in as a playoff team, take that next step, but a lot of people very high on the Devils. Horwat, any other teams that you're going to keep an eye on really quickly before we close out the show?
Yeah, I'll keep mine quick. I'll just lead everyone to listen to Hunter's podcast that we were on to my thoughts on Ottawa. I think they just can be a lot of fun. But I also want to throw in Columbus. People are still really low on Columbus. I don't think they're still that great of a team, but I love the addition of Johnny Gaudreau to that team because you can't stay the path or get worse when you add that many points, assuming he has even an inkling of the last season. I love that addition. For that addition alone, I bumped them really high on my projected rankings. So,
your projected rankings or your power rankings?
Both. I bumped them pretty high just for Johnny Gaudreau alone.
Okay.
They're going to be a fun team, and something to keep an eye on. It sucks saying that, but they're a team that I'm definitely going to be watching on top of Ottawa as well.